USA to get us underway here then. Coming off a couple of good results in the World Cup qualifying group. There's a lot of work still to be done, and to be done soon in that group. But here's a sharpening up exercise of some significance against Belgium. Here's Clarence Goodson with a little early touch back to Tim Howard, who's back in goal tonight. Brad Guzan filled in for him when he was injured in Mexico and kept a clean sheet. It's brilliant for the USA, really. They have two excellent goalkeepers now. Belgium are top of their World Cup qualifying group, level though with Croatia, and only one of them will automatically qualify. The other goes into a playoff, and Belgium are fully aware that they still have to play Croatia away from home in October, so they wouldn't be favourites to make it. That is one tough group, I tell you.
No, but when you look at that group, that June 7th qualifier against Serbia is huge. They get 3 points there. They eliminate Serbia and at least guarantee themselves a spot in the playoff.
Yeah, that's next week. With a transatlantic treble before that as well for the Belgians. No Michael Bradley tonight, by the way, for the United States, in case you're wondering where he is. Played in the Italian Cup final at the weekend. He arrives back in the United States tomorrow morning and probably will play against Germany on Sunday. Likewise, Fabian Johnson, who's been on duty for Hoffenheim. They've stayed up in the Bundesliga.
Did you watch that Germany game today?
Yeah, 4-2.
Holy cow.
Yep. They were 4-0 up as well in 23 minutes. Now then, who's the Gatorade prime to perform man tonight then, Taylor?
I look at Sasha Kljestan, because when you look at how the depth of the U.S. midfield with Jermaine Jones, Michael Bradley, Maurice Edu, Kyle Beckerman, he's had a great season. 2 years in a row he's won that championship, but with absences come opportunities to prove yourself. You just have a feeling that for Kljestan, this may be his last opportunity to prove himself to Jurgen Klinsmann.
They are looking for a creative spark. Likewise, Brad Davis tonight might have an opportunity. He's a cultured player playing on the left of a three, just behind Josie Altidore. Here's Vermaelen, who's lost his place at Arsenal. Closing stages of the season. Heavy touch from Fellaini in midfield, but it didn't matter. And here's Jan Vertonghen of Tottenham Hotspur. Clint Dempsey will know him, of course, teammates. Jermaine Jones. And then Kljestan again. I'll be glad they're not having to face Eden Hazard as well. He's still recovering from a hamstring injury picked up in the later stages of the season with Chelsea. So a chance to see him for the United States fans lost, but there are plenty of other stars out there. Good work from Fellaini, who looks to have a slightly deeper role than we sometimes see with Everton. Nice turn by Dempsey. Here's Josie Altidore. Goes for the shot from long range. He really could do with a goal. Loads for his club. Bit of a drought for his country. Clever piece of play there by the Belgians. De Bruyne would be an option here. Here he is. Good build-up play, and in the end Vertonghen was denied by the tracking back Zusi. Did very well there.
You just look at the quality of play, particularly out of the midfield from Belgium. Players running all over. You see De Bruyne taking on Jeff Cameron, overlapping run, but good recovery from Jeff Cameron to get back after that turnover in midfield.
This is De Bruyne to take the corner kick. That's easy meat, really, for Tim Howard. Is Vertonghen again, voted by his fellow players in England in the Premier League team of the season. He was. Really good debut season. Company wasn't in it this time. This is Alderweireld. Marouane Fellaini of Everton getting the little knockback from Lukaku. They really do have strength in depth, because Christian Benteke of Aston Villa has been full of goals this season. He's on the bench tonight. Probably see him later on. Dempsey, meanwhile, Only Altidore in the box, others beginning to arrive. Comes to Altidore, can he finish it here? Oh, there was a moment. Alderweireld just smuggled it away from him, but that was good work from the United States and a glimmer of an opportunity for Altidore.
Great combination play from Zuzi and Dempsey, but that is a sign of a striker that has the weight of the world on his shoulders right there. All season long, Altidore in Holland hits that first time on goal.
Lukaku here, oh, Tim Howard, brilliantly done, but then Morales has put Belgium ahead. What a clever finish. Kevin Morales of Everton, cool as you like.
Well, how about how quickly that changes? Great combination play from Dempsey and Zuzi to give Altidore a chance, and Belgium comes right back. But look at the reaction from Omar Gonzalez and Jeff Cameron. That's too slow. Tim Howard does everything right coming off his line to win this ball, but now you have to recover if you're Jeff Cameron there. You have to make sure that ball is cleared out, and what a goal from Morales. You see the reaction immediately from Tim Howard looking at Jeff Cameron, Omar Gonzalez. Not good enough.
Quite a goal celebration as well. He knew where he was. He was in great form for Everton at the end of the season. He's got that goal as well against his clubmate, Tim Howard, who calls him a shooting star.
Well, and what also did he say? He can bring out magic when no one else can. You saw it there.
It's a lovely finish.
But in these international games, it comes down to taking your chances, and Jozy Altidore with a golden opportunity early in this game.
The United States having to chase this little lesson. This is the kind of opposition they'll face in Brazil. Should they make it, of course, that's still not definite. He was going on this morning, wasn't he, Jurgen Klinsmann, when he was talking to us about speed of thought needing to be improved, and maybe they were just a little slow-witted at the back there in reacting and have paid the penalty. Brad Davis towards Altidore! Didn't quite get on the end of it. Corner. Good defending in the end.
It's a good active start right now from Jozy Altidore, getting him behind, finding those seams.
Here comes the United States corner. Davis with his excellent left foot. Nicely done by Dembele to help out. Look at Vertonghen, he's always quite happy to join the attack. And look at Kompany getting forward here. He was almost the furthest forward there for Belgium. Vincent Kompany, the central defender. Oh, the United States getting themselves in a little bit of a pickle there. Taylor, there's a lot of people saying with this Belgium side, if they get to the World Cup, and they've got a tricky job doing it, as we've explained, they could be the surprise package.
Well, I don't think there's any question about it. I mean, look at this starting lineup. 8 of their players are playing in the Premier League, but then when you look at it, Ian, more so, they kind of have this little golden generation going on, very similar to where Portugal was 6-7 years ago. They have to make the most of this opportunity.
Tim Howard was furious with his defense over the concession of that goal. He'd made an important interception. It looked like the danger might be over, but Morales had other ideas, and De Bruyne might have here as well. Didn't really get hold of it, did he?
There's confusion right now because immediately when this ball crosses the end line, Clarence Goodson, Omar Gonzalez, and Jeff Cameron are having heated words with each other, because when Jeff Cameron pushes forward to De Bruyne, Gonzalez and Goodson aren't on the same page.
Here's the man making his 100th appearance, DeMarcus Beasley. The first of them was back in 2001 against China, when Brian McBride was in the team, Eddie Pope, Tony Meola was in goal, Jeff Agus, Landon Donovan was playing then. Zusi inside. A bit of a breakthrough, Zusi in the US side. But they do look bright, Belgium. Full of attacking ideas and good movement. Dembele. Here's the goal scorer, Miralles again. This time Cameron stops the ball getting to Lukaku. Brad Davis. Houston Dynamo man plays it back to Sacha Kljestan. Kljestan, a fluent French speaker who plays in Belgium for Anderlecht. He'll know a lot of these players very well. Cameron's ball, not anticipated at all and easily cut out by Vermaelen. Belgium qualified for 6 successive World Cups between 1982 and 2002, but they haven't played in a major championship since then. Look to end that little run later on this year. De Bruyne again, this time stopped by Omar Gonzalez. Here's Kljestan for the USA. That's a very loose ball indeed. Never looked like finding its target. Now the US have to really work hard to get that ball back again and get the shape back.
That's the second or third time, though, in the midfield that there's been miscommunication from the forward line. First, Jozy Altidore, then Graham Zusi. Sooner or later, they got to pull the trigger earlier, or the forward still has to make that run and stay committed. Those are simple giveaways that can't happen against this Belgium side.
Defoe here. Just got to hang on in there in the moment. De Bruyne with the cross in. It's come out here to Miralles. Alderweireld, who's being locked at by a lot of Premier League sides. Bossing the game at the moment, no two ways about it, Belgium. The Tongan, strong enough to keep possession as well. Ooh, and that went a long way. Goodson did well, because waiting behind him was Fellaini.
It's amazing when you see the presence of a young forward like Lukaku in the middle. He's standing right between Goodson and Gonzalez, and now it's making it very difficult. So now Fellaini, De Bruyne, anyone can make that run out of the midfield, and both center backs from the U.S. have their hands full.
Play's going to be pulled back here. Dempsey says, why wasn't I allowed to go on? The referee has blown. Altidore. Company was there for Belgium. The only side to score against them so far in their World Cup qualifying group. Big rivals Croatia in a 1-1 draw. They've been beating Serbia, Scotland, Wales, with something to spare usually. Fellaini again. Will he follow David Moyes from Everton to Manchester United? There's a lot of speculation about that. Jermaine Jones, identified as one of the team leaders by Jurgen Klinsmann.
There's a big difference, though, with Brad Davis on that left-hand side, Ian. Usually we see Hercules Gomez, but Brad Davis is naturally left-footed. He's all left-footed, and he's comfortable out there.
Zusi just about kept it in play. Here's Kljestan. Cameron. Now he's out of position, has to get back quickly, the right back. De Bruyne. They're looking a bit vulnerable here. Lukaku wants it played in for him. Here he is. And Tim Howard had read that superbly. Very similar to the build-up to the goal.
Yeah, it's so good from Tim Howard to read that, because Omar Gonzalez and Jeff Cameron are caught out of position. If Jeff Cameron is going to overlap and go forward, he has to make sure he cannot lose that ball there. And if he does, then Sasha Kleshtin or Jermaine Jones have to slide over and recover.
Finding it very, very difficult early on here, USA. Dempsey. Tough job for Zusi against Vertonghen. He was a very, very strong and adept defender who can play in the middle as well. Well won back that time. Dempsey away from his Spurs teammate Dembele. Here's Josie Altidore. Now Graham Zusi, Sasha Kleshtin and Jermaine Jones of Schalke. Better period of possession here. Altidore to flick it inside, but in the end it wasn't to anybody in particular.
It's just a little thing, but why use the outside of your right foot? Josie's extremely active, getting in good spots. Control that ball, maybe try a 1-2 with Clint Dempsey.
One thing you've got to say about Jurgen Klinsmann since he's been in charge, he's set the team a few degree courses, hasn't he, here and there along the way.
He's talked about making players feel uncomfortable.
Some of those tests have been passed along the way, notably the wins in Mexico in the friendly and the win in Italy. But there have been some laboured away displays in qualifying, it should be said as well. The home form, very good in qualifying. And 2 of the 3 qualifiers coming up are at home as well. Jones looking to pick a long ball. Altidore. Inquests in the US defense still going on about this goal, though.
Well, it's immediately when Tim Howard comes off his line. Watch the reaction from Omar Gonzalez and Jeff Cameron, because now your reaction has to be there. Both guys get caught ball watching. Tim Howard does everything well, but they're second to that ball, and it gives Morales an opportunity to pick up his head and score a world-class goal.
It's his 7th goal for Belgium, that one, Morales.
You know, I look at tonight's test. This is a difficult test for still a young defender in Omar Gonzalez. He does very well against that physical forward like Lukaku, but it's when the players out of the midfield run and make those overlapping runs, he really struggles picking up the right forward.
Slightly better period here for the US, just starting to fizz the ball around with a little more confidence. But shell-shocked, I think, by that early goal. And again, Dempsey and Altidore not quite gelling together there. De Bruyne again. Perfect weight on the ball. Here he is, Morales, very much a danger man. Fleet-footed, got a few tricks. Still him. And away by Omar Gonzalez.
That was perfect defending from Beasley. That's a foul right in front of the assistant referee.
Dembele. De Bruyne again is on Chelsea's book, so he's playing for Werder Bremen in Germany. The word is that Jose Mourinho will take over at Stamford Bridge and that De Bruyne will be recalled and become part of the Chelsea first team squad next season. Likewise, Lukaku. That's what we're hearing anyway.
You think Lukaku's back at Chelsea?
That's the word that probably Jose Mourinho, if it is him, and it looks like being him at Stamford Bridge, Lukaku will get recalled. We'll see. Did well at West Bromwich Albion. 17 Premier League goals, number 6 on the scoring charts.
He has to play, though. He's got to be somewhere where he's playing in order to make that 2014 World Cup team.
Coming up on Sunday, It's a US men's and women's national team doubleheader in celebration of 100 years of US soccer. First, the US men's team facing Germany, live from the RFK Stadium, coverage beginning at 2 Eastern Time on ESPN2. Then at 4:30 Eastern on ESPN News, the women play Canada. Defoe, who plays for Porto, on the ball here. An accomplished player, who's usually on the bench for the qualifiers more recently, but top operator really. The US have made life a bit hard for themselves tonight. De Bruyne. Morales again. It's a poor cross that time. Way too near to Tim Howard. He made a present of it. Davis, scorer in Major League Soccer at the weekend for Houston Dynamo. Good ball that to Zusi. Too long for Altidore, really. Needed a better delivery than that, and then the ball's given away. Jones, very strong there. Excellent play from him. And the US fans trying to lift the side. Beasley. Davis, Altidore got a little shove, nothing illegal really, as the ball came across.
But that is why Brad Davis is in here. Give him any opportunity from 30 yards in, he's going to whip that ball in. It cannot just be Josie Altidore making a run inside the 18. That whole bit of possession came from Jermaine Jones winning the tackle, then playing two-touch.
Davis can certainly deliver a cross all right. People have got on the end of them though. Back into the danger zone, and yes, the United States are level. Jeff Cameron up from the back. And suddenly it looks brighter. Jeff Cameron scores his first United States goal.
Well, and now you want to watch Lukaku defend here near post, because this ball goes over his head. We talk about ball watching on the other end. Both guys from Belgium ball watching. Clint Dempsey does exactly what you're supposed to do. Head that back post. Give Jeff Cameron a ton of credit for following the play through. Lukaku and Vertonghen get caught sleeping.
Good play again from Cameron. Nicked the ball away from De Bruyne. Dempsey tried to make inroads. He's had just a little much-needed rest. Didn't play for Tottenham in their game in the Bahamas against Jamaica the other day. Lukaku. Morales. Lukaku offside. Flagged up, won't count. No two ways about it. He was off.
No, but you look at Lukaku and you, notice how his physical specimen, but look at this first touch, Ian. A big body like that to bring the ball down, turn around, and immediately play. That's close.
Close, but offside.
Agreed, but Lukaku with that first touch brought down from a 40-yard ball. Wow.
Starting to grow in assurance a little, the US here. It's better, isn't it, Taylor?
It's much better, particularly because the three in the middle, Dempsey, Kleshin, and Jones, are playing two-touch. Keeping the ball movement. And then when you're Brad Davis, Zusi, and Altidore, you're in the game.
I like the idea of this friendly, because if you're going to have a friendly match, you might as well make it a significant one that's going to tell you something. And I think that's Jurgen Klinsmann's view.
Yeah, but my key point of this is Belgium brought their A squad.
Yes.
You know, I mean, they're going to play Germany on Sunday, and yeah, that Germany team just beat Ecuador 4-2. I get that, but this is Belgium's A squad other than Hazard. It's a good test.
Well, the Belgians were talking about coming over here. It wouldn't be the natural place for them to go. They'd have a bit of jet lag before going back for their game against Serbia. There's a bit of team bonding, and raises the question, do they think they need that then?
I don't know how many players, though, are going to send postcards from Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah. Have been stories in the past of divisions, possibly within Belgian camps. They've always had some pretty good players knocking around, and were World Cup semi-finalists back in '86. Remember Jan Keulemans? Fantastic player. Bit later, Enzo Schifo.
He was my favorite.
Yeah, Jean-Marie Pfaff, the goalkeeper. Been a few. Of course, one of the Belgian players of some fame is the current coach, Mark Wilmots, who was captain the last time Belgium reached the World Cup back in 2002. Here's Klestjan. He's quite enjoying that central midfield role tonight. Often when he has been used as a substitute, it's been in a wide position in more recent times. He did keep that in play, ingeniously almost. What a year it's been for him.
Yeah, and I think tonight's a huge test. You know, a lot of us have been very pleased with what Graham Zusi has brought to the U.S. men's national team, but tonight's his first cap against the European side.
Yeah.
And it's one thing against the CONCACAF teams, and it's another thing against Venezuela, which is where his first cap was. But against the European teams, tactically your challenge is more of a mental game. It's a big test for Graham Zusi, and 33 minutes in, he's been a handful.
He's proving, too, that you can make it into the U.S. side and be a breakthrough player via the MLS route.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, look at what Clint Dempsey did for 3 years with the New England Revolution and then moved on to the EPL. Graham Zusi's had a great career at Sporting KC. I think he's playing his contract out no matter what reports you read. He wants an opportunity to go to Europe, but tonight's a big test for him.
He did have a little trial at West Ham United, but I don't think that went awfully well. Not because he didn't play well, but I don't think he was working with the first team squad a lot of the time. I think he was working with the reserves. But he's playing almost in the position Landon Donovan would have been playing in.
It's funny you bring up Landon Donovan, because looking at those two gentlemen, those are arguably the two best American playmakers in MLS. Who's the third? Landon Donovan.
I think Jurgen Klinsmann, first of all, wants to see Landon Donovan back at his best for Los Angeles Galaxy, doesn't he? He says the door is still open. Substitution being made here. Pocognoli, wide player, he's going to come on here. Plays at Hanover, where Steve Cherundolo is usually to be found, well, always to be found. So I'm not quite sure who they're going to take off here, Belgium. We'll find out in a moment.
It looks like Vermeulen's down on the bench, icing an ankle or a knee right now. So Morales is playing left back, and Vertonghen's moved in at center back.
Yeah.
Belgium's down a man right now.
They won't take any chances, of course, with this big game against Serbia, the qualifier coming up next weekend. Possession kept well. Dempsey leading from the front as the captain of the side these days. Doesn't have to do any speeches, just has to lead from the front. Now then, Brad Davis, he can let go here with that left footer as he Took quite a long time to get the shot away, however, and Vertonghen was able to get in the block.
Just one touch too much.
Changes being made. It's Vermaelen who has come off. And on comes Sebastian Pocognoli. 8th cap for him. Here's DeMarcus Beasley. This is getting better for the United States, starting to pose some problems. And Belgium has to just reorganize a little. I think Jurgen Klinsmann will be happy with the response. They were outclassed and outplayed in the first 20 minutes or so of this game, but have come back pretty well. And Dempsey, I think he was in an offside position. Coming up on Tuesday, June the 11th, ESPN has a couple of crucial World Cup qualifiers. 7:30 Eastern, Mexico against Costa Rica live from the Azteca. Then at 10 o'clock Eastern, the USA against Panama. Be a great atmosphere for that in Seattle, one of the hotbeds of the game in this country, of course. The floodlight just beginning to take over from the natural light here. And this perfect evening for the game. Toby Alderweireld on the far side, the Ajax player. Vertonghen's gone back into central defence now. That won't bother him one bit. In fact, he'll probably be happier there. Both sides are allowed 6 substitutions, this being a friendly tonight, and I think we might see quite a few in the second half. It's usually the way of these things. Remember earlier on, Germany, who played the United States in Washington on Sunday, won 4-2 against Ecuador. Beasley, Altidore went down. Well, they wanted the advantage there. Beasley did anyway.
Looks like it was an offside call.
Yeah, that's what he's, yeah. All a bit confusing for a moment, but it is a Belgian free kick.
Belgium's making another substitute. Benteke's coming on.
And that might worry the United States defenders, because he is a handful, I can tell you. Pocognoli here. Good play by him. De Bruyne, who's gone out to the right-hand side now, looks for a little 1-2. Oh, it's not cleared properly by the United States defender. They want a penalty there. They thought maybe DeMarcus Beasley had handballed it, but it didn't look like that. De Bruyne's hand shot up. Davis with that good left foot of his to Altidore. Big summer for Josie Altidore. Remember, he hasn't scored in open play yet. Well, is that handball? Looking at that again. Look at that. Hand was up. A lot of referees would have given that. Probably was a penalty, in all honesty. Surprised more of the Belgian players weren't up for that, really. I took it from the half-hearted response of most of them that it wasn't, but looking at it again. Tim Bailey's, well, Lukaku! Tim Howard got something on that. He needed to as well, I think.
And right now, Clarence Goodson's just having a tough time. He's looking at DeMarcus Beasley to tuck inside on the inside of Lukaku to give him some support.
Here it is again.
That's a handball.
Well,
What do you mean, well? Ball hit him right in the hand.
Yeah, it's got to be a handball that is deliberate. I think the referee took the view that was ball to hand, Taylor, to be honest. But it's whether his hand is raised. Does he put his hand up? Oh,
Yeah,
I think he does.
that's a handball.
I think he does. I'm
100%.
with you. Yep, penalty. Looking at it again. Dembele, by the way, who's gone off to be replaced by Christian Benteke, who got 19 goals in the Premier League for Aston Villa, instrumental with Brad Guzan in keeping them up. Howard elects to punch that time. Defoe has to go backwards in the end. He got caught out a little bit there, and Mignolet had to rescue the situation. That was a miss hit.
That's such good, simple, hard work from DeMarcus Beasley there. Ian, it's a little thing. He doesn't have to go there. He's the left back. No one on that team has any problem if he holds his ground, but he sees the play through. Now the U.S. get the ball back.
Well, that's the signal, isn't it, of the best teams. They're not only good with the ball, they're very good when they haven't got it.
Well, and particularly with DeMarcus Beasley, you know, everyone has criticized over his career as a one-on-one defender. The problem is for him, he can recover against anyone with his speed. So he may get beat the first time, but the second time he can't because he's going to recover better than anyone. We saw that at Azteca in the World Cup qualifier. He was good.
Would have been a nasty thing to happen to him on the occasion of his 100th cap, to give away a penalty, wouldn't it? But it looked like it should have been. Davis playing it inside. Brad Davis does bring the United States a bit of extra craft and intelligence, and of course his excellent passing range. Now then, Morales. Goodson gets it out of harm's way. Cameron to Zusi. That goal might have just stung the Belgians a little bit. I'm sure they were thinking, we're the better side here and we're in control, 1-0. But now there's been a twist. Here's Benteke. Whether Aston Villa can keep hold of him is very much open to question, I would say, such is his prodigious ability.
Well, now it's a little bit of a different look for that back line of the U.S. because Benteke will play a little bit closer to Lukaku. We just saw it right there. Omar Gonzalez with good recognition to step forward and win that ball back.
Yeah, they're playing almost like a 4-4-2, aren't they now, really,
yep.
the Belgians? An early decision taken by Mark Wilmots. And Cameron's ball is a loose one. Jones tried to get it, but then Fellaini did. And that was some careless play. You cannot afford to give it away like that in the middle of the field. Here's De Bruyne cutting inside, and Tim Howard's there in the end. But that all came from a loose pass. Deschamps will get a free kick. Fellaini thought there was nothing wrong with it, but that's often the way of it, isn't it? Altidore going pretty wide.
You don't want Josie Altidore. If you're Jurgen Klinsmann and the U.S. staff, you do not want Josie Altidore on the touchline.
Here's Morales again. Bocconioli. Oh, into a great area. It's a good ball. Lukaku couldn't get the touch it needed, but it was excellently played, that, by Belgium. Don't forget, coming up at half-time, Alexi Lalas will join Taylor to answer your Twitter questions, and they will be revealing the opponent for the MLS All-Star team coming up in July. We will keep it a secret for a few minutes longer. Defoe. Just a minute of stoppage time to be added here. Good comeback by the United States in this game against tough and talented opposition. Start of this massive 3 weeks for the team. It'll be fascinating to see that Germany game on Sunday in Washington, then those 3 World Cup qualifiers, first of them away to Jamaica on Friday week. Cameron did well there, used his physicality, got the foot in. Here's Dempsey. He's looking at where Brad Davis is, and while he was thinking, the Belgians, hunting in packs, pickpocketed the ball. Jones sweeps it out to DeMarcus Beasley, and that will be half-time. And I would think Jurgen Klinsmann would be pretty happy with the way that his side got over what was a torrid opening 20 minutes. Pretty bad goal to give away. Very well taken by Kevin Morales. But then Jeff Cameron, with his first ever goal for the USA, came out with that headed equaliser. 1-1 between the United States and Belgium at half-time. Entertaining stuff. Belgium dominating early. United States a spirited comeback. Brad Guzan has taken over in the second half in goal from Tim Howard. So a half of action for the man who was voted the Aston Villa goalkeeper or player of the entire season, even ahead of Christian Benteke, who he's now facing in the shirt of Belgium. Eddie Johnson's on as well in place of Josie Altidore. What do you make of that? Altidore subbed at half-time. Maybe they'd planned that beforehand. Maybe they did, but if they did not, that is extremely tough on Josie's confidence right now. That's a tough one when you haven't scored from the run of play with your new head coach, Jurgen Klinsmann. That's a tough one to come out at half. You hate that as a player. Company bringing it forward. Lukaku with the layoff. Then Defoe helps it forward for Belgium. Lukaku again. There's a nice flow about this move, isn't there, from Belgium. De Bruyne. Too close to Brad Guzan. He'll be very thankful. Nice early, comfortable touch for him. Morales, score of the Belgian goal. Beautifully taken it was too, though the US defense could have done better. Klestjan's done okay there. How do you think he's doing tonight, Sasha Klestjan, in there? Well, I thought it was a tough start early on trying to get into the game, and I think part of that was just the United States as a whole. But the last 20 minutes of that first half, he kept it very simple. But more importantly, it was his ball pressure in the midfield was a lot better than the beginning of the game. I think, like the team, just grown into it a bit. Completely. Jurgen Klinsmann, whose record is of 47 goals for his country, could be equaled by Lukas Podolski at the weekend. He got 2 today. Now then, Lukaku! Guzan wasn't quite sure where that was heading, couldn't afford to let it go, that's for certain. It might have gone into the side netting. This is a different look now from Belgium because Benteke is pushed forward. Now they're playing with 2 strikers. Goodson and Gonzalez have to be on the same page now. It's different. That first half, they had midfielders coming in as that second and third runners. Now they have to deal with 2 big boys up front. And they keep switching the wingers over as well, De Bruyne and Morales. Morales has now gone to the left where he usually appears for Everton. Beasley. Company goes down, wants a free kick. He's not getting it, mind you. Jermaine Jones fouls a good ball there. Nice pass for Graham Zusi on this side. Klestjan lays it back. Jones is the player being asked to sit a little deeper than Klestjan, who's got a little more license to go forward. But Jurgen Klinsmann making the point, if one goes, the other has to stay. That's a decent ball as well. Beasley couldn't bring it under control. He gets a chance for a cross, though. Third corner this for the United States. This is exactly the kind of opposition or level of opposition that the United States will have to cope with if they get. And Ian, this little touch from Graham Zusi is because that corner flag's right on the concrete of this stadium. Tough to take the corner kick. It is, but it gives Graham Zusi about 2 extra yards to then put more pace on it and whip it in front of the goalkeeper. Belgium have cleared it, and here is Morales again taking the eye. Had a bit of an injury problem in the middle of the season for Everton. Otherwise, I think his impact would have been regarded as even greater. As it was, he got 9 goals, including 2 in the final home game for David Moyes. And that's Guzan's all night long, or should be, it is. Question off the outside of the boot to Brad Davis. Always among the leading assists creators. That's offside this time against Eddie Johnson. Defoe of Porto. He was captain at Standard Liège when he was 19 years old, so obviously a bit of a leader figure. It's quite interesting. I'm worried about the jet lag, the Belgians. The players were given space-age light-emitting luminettes for the trip over here and on the way back as well. They never give us those, do they?
I don't even know what that is.
No,
what are you talking about?
Well, exactly. It's some high-tech thing. It stops the players getting jet lag, or is supposed to anyway.
You lost me at a luminette.
Yeah, at luminettes. We might have to run a half-hour special, I think, on that to explain it all at some point. It's all part of the sophisticated preparation players get these days. Zusi. Alderweireld is saying, I think I didn't touch that, you know. It shouldn't be a United States throw, but it is. Davis looking to curl one in behind. Company's able to cut that one out. You can see the idea, though. Cameron with the interception. Good pressing here from the United States. That one's broken down, though. Kleshchen needs to get back because here's the counter. Maro and Fellaini.
Oh, that is great work from Jermaine Jones.
Just halted the momentum, didn't he, of the attack briefly. De Bruyne, no, not going to work.
Well, Fellaini took that extra touch, and by Jermaine Jones not giving up on the play, that now allows that back four some time to regroup.
This is only the second time in Jurgen Klinsmann's reign that a European side has faced his American team on American soil. The other time was Scotland a year ago, and the USA won 5-1. Landon Donovan got a hat-trick.
Well, I think you bring up an interesting point, though, because last year, you remember you and I were sitting in D.C. before the Brazil game, and this U.S. team looked tired. Same time as last year, they had this little 5-game spurt in 2.5, 3 weeks. I think it's going to be very interesting when this team goes down to Jamaica. Are they going to be refreshed? Or is you're going to push them a little too much going into that World Cup qualifier?
Well, that's the name of the game, isn't it, really? That these two games get them absolutely ready for that trip to Jamaica. And the points are on the line. And the games following against Panama and Honduras at home. Lukaku stuck to the task well again there, DeMarcus Beasley. He might keep that left back position even when Fabian Johnson's fit again. Johnson might be tried in midfield, we're hearing. He's been playing for Hoffenheim more recently. Pocognoli hooked away by Cameron. So far in the qualifying group, the United States have 4 points from 3 games. They've scored just 2 goals, but they've only let in 2 as well. Panama topping the group with Costa Rica second at the moment, but it's all extremely tight. De Bruyne. Johnson's lay back. Brad Davis looking to pick out Dempsey. Was unlikely to profit from that one. Does have that in his pocket though, doesn't he, Davis? That ability to pick a killer pass from longer range.
Boy, he does, Ian. He's got easily the best left foot in MLS and for this U.S. men's national team. But that's why I like him out there as opposed to a guy that is on the opposite side where Herculez Gomez is a right-footed player playing on the left-hand side.
What he doesn't have is pace, of course, and he would be the first to admit that. That's not his game. Dufour. Up towards Christian Benteke. Very dangerous in the air. Pocognoli's done pretty well since he came on in that left-back position. Can play further forward as well. Here's Jan Vertonghen. Not accurate enough for Benteke. Must be one of the signings of the season in England, Christian Benteke. Only cost about $10 million for Villa. Here's Lukaku towards Benteke. Omar Gonzalez got the footing, but De Bruyne can bring it back again, and there Belgium are ahead. It was a mistake, I'm afraid, by Gonzalez. And Benteke puts the ball past his Aston Villa colleague Brad Guzan. It was a bit of a gift.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It was a gift, Ian, and that's part of the growing pains with Omar Gonzalez. This being his 7th cap, he's done a better job in the last 10 to 15 minutes dealing with 2 forwards, but this is where as a center back you have to make sure you see the play through. This ball needs to be hit 30 yards, 30 rows into the crowd. No reason to try to play out here. The heavy first touch sets up De Bruyne for a simple finish for Benteke. His recovery run was fine, everything was fine, his positioning was fine, but if you are going to take a touch there, you have to be sure.
5th international goal and his 13th cap, but it was a bit of a present. Omar Gonzalez doing so well since he's come into the United States team recently, particularly at the Azteca. But I think him and Jurgen Klinsmann will regard that as a bit of a learning moment.
Yeah, and if you're going to have those, make them in friendlies.
Well, there it is, yeah.
We saw the learning moment he had in a World Cup qualifier at Honduras this year. It's okay. This is part of the growing pain of playing at the international level for Omar Gonzalez. In MLS, De Bruyne's probably not even finishing that run. There's no one there. Not at this level.
Clarence Goodson with the header. His experience and talking vital alongside Gonzalez back there. Matt Beasler is pushing him for his place a bit after his excellent efforts against Mexico away. He's on the bench tonight, by the way, Beasler. Can the US come back again? It's asking a lot. You don't often concede 2 at home and win. Or 2 anywhere and win.
No, but if you want to take a positive out of the 2 goals they've conceded, they're fixable problems. Just little things. Tracking runners, not ball watching, and then making sure your first touch is clean.
And another stern test coming up in Washington, D.C. on Sunday against the Germans. Bit of a misunderstanding there between DeMarcus Beasley and Brad Davis has allowed Aldaver Aldin. Is Beasley, who's behind for a corner. Gives me a chance to tell you we've got a men's and women's national team doubleheader coming up on Sunday. The men playing Germany, that's 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2, and then at 4:30 Eastern on ESPN News, the women's national team playing Canada. That's this Sunday. Can the USA direct themselves back via the aerial route again. Gonzalez was forward from the back. Company lays it forward to Morales. Although Vincent Kompany's made his career in England now, he's still very proud of his Belgian roots and has actually bought a third division team in Belgium and rebranded them to give them new life. Brilliant. Here he is there, right on cue on the ball. Remember, the other week he came back after being out with a calf injury for about a month and played for Belgium. And Roberto Mancini, the Manchester City manager at that time, of course he's gone now, was furious that he returned for Belgium before he returned for Manchester City. Kicked up a real fuss about it. 3 days later, Kompany comes back from playing for Belgium and he's in the Manchester City team as well. So,
yeah, but that's Mancini's mojo, right?
Well,
he tells Tevez off, basically, and then what?
I mean, he's saying to Kompany there, Kompany said to him, I'm fit, I played. So I don't know what that fuss was about, really. Here's Omar Gonzalez. He's got to put that little error behind him. Get on with it. Still only his 7th cap. It's worth reminding ourselves of that.
Well, in 5 of those 7 caps, he's have a different partner at center back. You know, you heard Alexi talk about it at halftime about continuity at center back. I think that's a big one for Omar Gonzalez. And it's very important for Omar to succeed that he has the right partner. We've seen in MLS his college buddy in AJ De La Garza. We saw him with Matt Beasler, Clarence Goodson. It's very important to complement Omar Gonzalez at center back in order for him to succeed.
To do with that consistency. Goodson is the man in possession at the moment. To pull out injured on the day, didn't he? Or the day before for that Mexico game, which is why Beasler played. Couple of self-inflicted wounds a little bit here for the US. 2-1 behind, but not doing too badly in the game. Here's Jermaine Jones, the Schalke side doing well again in Germany this season, finishing 4th. Don't forget that aerial coverage of the game tonight provided by Goodyear. Everything we've learned making tyres for confident handling inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. And that's the pictures that they're bringing you from the First Energy Stadium in Cleveland.
So you going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tomorrow or what?
Yeah, I'm going to be down there. They've got a special Rolling Stones section that I'll be looking at. I'm told it's good by all you fellas, so it better be.
I'm the worst person to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with. Is Big Red taking you or no?
No, I think he's on the plane to Washington straight away. So could be good. Terrence Boyd's coming on here. Young striker to replace Brad Davis. Substitution fueled by Gatorade. Terrence Boyd on for Brad Davis, and he's done ever so well in Austria, where he's been playing for Rapid Vienna, scoring 13 league goals this season, helping his side to qualify for the Europa League next season.
Yep, he'll go play up front, and then Eddie Johnson will move wide left. Very similar to the World Cup qualifier in Kansas City against Guatemala.
Lukaku in behind here. Oh, got in a good shot as well. Guzan quite happy to help that one behind, but there's the speed and power of Romelu Lukaku.
He's just a complete package. He really is. Playing off the back shoulder of Clarence Goodson, and that little tug's not going to knock him off the ball.
Goodson tried to pull him back, but to no avail. It's might as well try to tug back a steam train with a bit of string. De Bruyne's going to take this. Up go the heads, including Fellaini. He didn't get there. It's good in the air. De Bruyne with another good-looking ball. There is Fellaini. And the Belgians score again. The aerial threat, great header, 3-1 Belgium.
And it's just extremely difficult when you come into the game as a substitute to get right into the game. But this is a little thing. Now watch this ball as it's cleared. Terrence Boyd's #1 job is to keep possession. He cannot lose the ball that easy because now Belgium's on the upper hand. Belgium has the upper hand because your back line's pushing forward, and that is an easy finish for Fellaini on the back post. It's a difficult task to come into this game and get into the flow of the game, but it's a little thing that Terrence Boyd has to realize. His job there is to keep possession.
And the Belgians make the US pay again. 6th international goal that for Fellaini. As I was saying, he's good in the air. Particularly if you give him that amount of space. School of hard knocks a little here for the US tonight. Seem to be doing and holding their own okay in the game until a few minutes ago, but 2 quick strikes by the Belgians have changed all that. Beasley got the better of Defour. Can they get this right? Here's Eddie Johnson. Gets the corner kick. It's the 5th one the United States have forced. Both Goodson and Gonzalez are up there. Very good catch by Mignolet. He's had a great season for Sunderland, and he's looking to get the counter-attack. It was great goalkeeping by him. He saw De Bruyne. That's clearly a foul. There are only a few thousand witnesses, don't worry. Just been a little naive at times tonight, possibly, the USA. There's the Seattle Sounders mad Eddie Johnson. It's an interesting ball in.
Well, and for 67 minutes, Belgium's been defending a guy in Brad Davis who's all left-footed. I love this ball from Eddie Johnson. You know, you're coming in, now you come in as a sub. Listen, you're not going to put any pressure on the ball, that's fine. That's a great ball in for Terrence Boyd to get on the end of.
It was a little teaser, wasn't it, that, from Johnson? Dries Mertens coming on here to replace De Bruyne. De Bruyne with 2 assists on the night. When these two sides met in Jurgen Klinsmann's 3rd game as the US coach in Brussels, Mertens had a particularly good game. Diminutive little figure, but a good creator and a scorer of a fair few goals as well. Company's caught there by Boyd. Ball had not gone outside the penalty area. And then it's rolling, so Costa Rican official Jeffrey Solis wants it retaken.
Does this ball leave?
No, it doesn't leave the penalty area. No, he made sure it didn't because there was a player coming in on him, and you can do that, of course. Maybe there should be some legislation about that. As it was, Company knew full well he could just stop the ball, and they'd have to retake the goal kick. Jermaine Jones helps it forward. Eddie Johnson, his DeMarcus Beasley now for the United States. Couple of changes going on here. Brad Evans is going to come on for Graham Zusi. And we're going to see Matt Beasley move into the defence as well in place of Clarence Goodson. Evans, who plays for Seattle Sounders, 8th cap for him. He did start the January friendly this year against Canada.
And I think he's someone to look at going into that Gold Cup. Will be a big part of that roster.
Might be something of a shadow squad because of the number of commitments in the World Cup this year. Here's Morales again. Got away from Omar Gonzalez. Always a clever piece of play. And he nearly got Mertens in. Really terrific stuff again from Morales there. He is so quick. I have to say, it would be a shame if this Belgian side don't make it to the World Cup finals.
I agree.
It'd be good to see that, how they'd cope with the conditions in Brazil and the competition.
Well, especially because it looks like they're set up for something not just for 4 years. It's a young team.
But as we were saying, it's by no means a certainty that they'll qualify automatically. Defour, what a ball that is to Benteke! It's another one, it's 4, brilliantly done. Defour's pass was a thing of beauty, and Benteke scores his 2nd.
And what did we talk about in the pregame? We talked about when you want to play a high line, you have to have ball pressure in the midfield. And that is not going to make Jurgen Klinsmann extremely happy on this. This is too easy. There's no ball pressure from Jermaine Jones. And then Benteke makes the perfect run. He's looking right across that line, sees Beasley, sees Gonzalez, sees Cameron. It's an easy run. But that's 45 yards from your goal. No ball pressure whatsoever from the midfield.
Guillaume Gillet's come on, the latest substitution, and Benteke, 2 more goals tonight, 2 in 15 minutes he scored now. Beautifully taken, lovely ball from Steven Defour to set that up as well.
I just love the run, because how often do you see forwards a little over anxious, just too anxious to get in behind so they're offside? He times it perfectly.
So Gillet comes on. Company will be rested, ready for the Serbia game. And you'd have to fancy Belgium in that game, wouldn't you, at home to the Serbians? Are usually quite a tough nut, but are getting blown away in that really big group with Croatia in it as well. Croatia, very good side, matching the Belgians point for point in it. I think bottom line here, Belgium have proved just a little bit too good for the USA here tonight. Some clinical finishing. Of course, there might be some people who will say, get a heavy defeat here, and if Germany do something similar,
well, that's the risk,
was that the best preparation mentally to go into 3 big World Cup qualifiers? I suppose there's 2 ways of looking, having stiff games. One's a little harsh on the US. There are those games coming up, the Germany game, then away to Jamaica, home to Panama, home to Honduras. Crunch time.
Well, and you said it in the first half. The home World Cup qualifying record in the last 23 games, the U.S. is 21-0-2.
Yeah.
So that Panama-Honduras game, that's 6 points is a must.
And the good news from the United States point of view is they won't have to play any team with the quality of Belgium in that CONCACAF group. They're ranked number 15 in the world. They've gone up about 25 places in the last year or so, Belgium.
Yeah, but those rankings are they're ridiculous. What's Ecuador, 10?
Yes.
Yeah, they look like it today.
They'll say it was a friendly. They came back all right. And they're probably going to qualify for the World Cup.
Well, going into the 2006 World Cup, the United States was ranked 5th or 6th. So
Spain 1, Germany 2. Any arguments there, Taylor?
no.
Generally, I agree with you, though. Sometimes they almost read like a work of fiction. The USA, by the way, 33 at the moment. Let's see who qualifies for the World Cup, and let's see how the World Cup goes. That's the way the hex stands at the moment. The final qualifying group, the top 3 go through to the World Cup finals in Brazil. The 4th team will be in a playoff with New Zealand. As you can see, the whole group is separated by only 3 points.
You just have a feeling, though, on June 18th and 19th, that's going to look a lot different after the next 3 World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is the United States go to Jamaica on the 7th of June, but 3 days before that, Jamaica have got to play Mexico at home as well. So that might be quite a good time to play them. We'll see. Could be a little bit of an advantage for the US in that. Or maybe not.
Yeah. Jamaica's one of those games you try to go down there and get a point. It's like playing on a parking lot. There's no grass on the field. It's a difficult environment. It's just tough.
Chile was trying to cause some havoc there. It's behind for a corner. And now DeMarcus Beasley is down there in some pain. Might not remember his 100th cap too fondly. Did well there too. Fell awkwardly. Don't want any injuries, of course, with all these big games coming up. He punched the turf. He's had happier moments in the game than this, of course.
Yeah, and obviously the scoreline's difficult in your 100th cap, but I think DeMarcus Beasley over the last 2 or 3 games has shown his ability to be a better one-on-one defender than he was early on in his career. Part of that is his recovery speed, but also I think his commitment to play left back for the team. No ego whatsoever. He stepped into that position, done fine.
Belgium looking to really rub it in here, really. Timmy Simons has come on, by the way, to replace Stephen Defoe. Looks like Beasley's going to be okay again. He's still very fit at the age of 31. Plays in Mexico for Puebla. Bit of thinking, though, for Jurgen Klinsmann to do. More defending to do here. It's a bit of a wake-up call after the clean sheet in the Azteca. Mexico haven't scored in the Hex yet. What odds would you have got on that?
Well, we also have to keep in mind, though, and, you know, Michael Bradley's coming, Fabian Johnson's coming back. Not everybody's here.
Simon's got a yellow card, I think, straight away. Looked like him, the referee was waving the card at. Veteran campaigner, 36, been a brilliant professional. He has the Champions League play in his time with PSV Eindhoven. He's now with Nuremberg in the Bundesliga. Johnson to head it back. Dempsey goes down. Referee's happy enough about that. Nothing given. Little flick there from Lukaku. They really do have some live wires in the side. It's nicely done by Marcus Beasley. Now it's Eddie Johnson. Oh, he tried to find Boyd, who'd pulled into some space. And wow, he's given a penalty, hasn't he? Yep, he has. Hand.
That's a tough one, Ian.
He's given it. Alderweireld is continuing the protest.
Well, and Eddie Johnson does a good job of just taking them on with speed. Now that's less of a handball than DeMarcus Beasley in the first half.
Yeah, that looks like ball.
That's not a handball to me.
Not really.
That's ball to hand.
No, he doesn't move his hand anywhere towards the ball at all. Clint Dempsey's going to take it. Belgium continue with the protest, but the Costa Rican referee saw what he saw. I don't think he saw the other one. And Dempsey continues here with a chance to carry on with his scoring streak. And does so too. 4-2. Clint Dempsey again. Looked a little harsh, but the USA will take that rather more respectable look to the scoreline.
Yeah, and any surprise that Clint Dempsey, the moment the handball is called, he's running over there, grabbing the ball, full of confidence. This is a harsh handball for me. That arm is inside. There is no doubt about that man right now wanting the ball, wanting to score anything possible.
33 goals. He needs one more to go joint second on the all-time list with Eric Winalda. And this is a moment to savour the return of Stuart Holden, who hasn't appeared for the USA since late in 2010 against Colombia. In the interim, it looked like his career might be over. 3 operations, all kinds of knee trouble. He's still very much making his way back, but it's a huge, huge moment in his recovery program to step out there for the USA again. You can only wish him well, Taylor.
Oh, I mean, is there anything better when you've seen the struggles of someone over 2 years to finally get rewards for that? Not to mention, if he returns to form, that's an X factor we haven't seen under Jurgen for 2 years.
There's still time, isn't there?
Plenty.
World Cup's a year away. He'll have a full pre-season with Bolton Wanderers, whose manager, Doogie Friedman, has been talking a lot to Jurgen Klinsmann about the recovery program. I think he's very, very happy, the Bolton manager, that he's getting this month with the US team, building up his fitness. Then he'll have pre-season. So who knows where the story will go next season.
Well, and I think US soccer fans, Ian, are a little reserved. You know, they saw the comeback of Charlie Davies not mount out to what he once was. I think they're a little reserved to see what Stuart Holden comes back this year. But all summer long, he's going to be with Jurgen and the boys.
Lovely ball, Jermaine Jones to Eddie Johnson. Oh, and Boyd couldn't quite reach it. And then it's turned over. That could have been 4-3. Good attack from the US. Painful. Brad Evans, it was arriving, and his nearly his first touch was a great ball from Jermaine Jones to start this.
And even a better run from Eddie Johnson. He's come in and tested that back line.
Good move. It was just a bit too narrow an angle, and then he's crashed into the hoardings with his head, I think, Brad Evans there. Happily he's okay. Showing a bit of character again here, the United States. Threatened to become a big drubbing. Holden's ball asking quite a bit of Evans, but he kept it in play. Beasler's header forward. Apparently the stats prove that Matt Beasler is the fastest player in the squad.
I think I'm going to ask for proof of that.
you might not get it.
Yeah, but we saw it against Mexico and Azteca, though. Chicharito at times got in behind. He was able to recover.
A player who's broken through recently. The Belgians will have half a mind on getting out of here with no further injury concerns. Remember, they've had to take off Vermaelen and Dembele tonight. We're not sure the extent of any injuries they might have picked up. Neither look that serious. Precautionary probably, but we'll hear more. Simons. Torgan Hazard has come on, the twin brother of the more famous Eden of Chelsea. She was transferred around the same time to Stamford Bridge, but never broke through there. Here's Morales. Chile's cross wasn't the most convincing one, and it's away by DeMarcus Beasley. Mocognoli, you had to come on early. Oh, here's another chance here. Is it a hat-trick coming up for Benteke? It looked like a penalty, maybe, with the challenge from Beasley. The play goes on, though. Could have been a spot kick. Interesting to look at that again.
I mean, Benteke is a handful.
Well, he was in. Now, was he fouled by Beasley here?
Look how just big, strong, and a quick turn. Beasley comes in late here and from behind. I don't know if he gets the ball or not. Ball first. I mean, for me, that's, I don't know. It's close. I wouldn't have had a problem if he did call a penalty in.
There wasn't a lot of contact with Benteke, was there, either?
I'm actually okay with that call, to be honest.
It might have been a great decision. The other thing, of course, is had he given it as a foul, he might have had to produce a red card as well for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. More treatment for Beasley. He's certainly having an eventful night one way and another. Pre-match presentation. It's an interesting conversation we were asking about when he was first asked to play at left back. He said, you know, how did the discussion go with the coach? He said, just 10 seconds. You're playing left back, he said. Okay, yeah, okay. That was it.
But Beasley's been that way his whole career.
Yes, great attitude. Team-minded. I think Jurgen Klinsmann will want to see a few less giveaways, won't he, against Germany on Sunday. Could be equally tough, mind you. More good players is Mertens, robbed by Jermaine Jones, who's got in a lot of important interceptions in there tonight. He's just been caught. Stays down, Jones.
But Ian, you bring up Jurgen Klinsmann. I know what my first question would be in the press conference is, where's Josie Altidore right now? The entire second half since the sub, we haven't seen Josie Altidore anywhere near the bench. Is he out with an injury? That's big news if he's out with an injury.
Well, we'll find out. Don't think there was. You never know with these friendlies whether it was all pre-planned that way. But,
well, he could be inside doing regeneration stuff.
Yeah.
But still, the game's going on. You kind of want to be out here for your teammates. Everyone else is.
Date for your diary, Tuesday, June the 11th. ESPN has a couple of crucial World Cup qualifiers kicking off 7:30 Eastern when Mexico meet Costa Rica from the Azteca. That'll be live. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern, USA against Panama amid a terrific atmosphere in Seattle. Jurgen Klinsmann's had a rather concerned look on his face during this second half. He can't have liked everything he's seen from his side tonight.
Well, anytime you give up 4 goals, but it's how they've given up the 4 goals that's more concerning.
Brazil put 4 past the USA, didn't they, in a friendly, but it's very rarely happened in the Jurgen Klinsmann era. Been taken to school a little bit, once or twice back there.
It's a big concern of mine, Ian. You know, last year we looked at how they did against Scotland. Yeah, okay, they won against Scotland, but that team was on vacation. They went to Canada, tied 0-0. They didn't play well against Brazil. Yeah, they played okay against Antigua Barbuda and then went to Guatemala, but they looked tired. You know, a lot of these guys are coming off their club season, so it's going to be very interesting over the next 2 weeks how hungry they are and how fit they are and fresh.
It's Morales again. It's very, very hard to pin him down. Prolific scorer in his Olympiacos days, as Jermaine Jones has picked up a yellow card.
I thought we would get through 90 minutes of Jermaine Jones not having a silly tackle.
He's battled away pretty well in there, though, hasn't he, most of the night?
Yes, but there's one thing that concerns you about Jermaine Jones. He has that one lapse of judgment. I mean, that tackle's from behind.
Beasler helps it forward. Dempsey goes down, surely a foul by Fellaini there. Routine free kick, no more. Dempsey stays on the floor. Everything's a concern, really, when it comes to injuries with big games coming up. He's the last player the USA would want to lose for any reason.
It takes a lot to keep Clint Dempsey down, I'll tell you that much. Just looked like Fellaini stepped on him right before he tried to explode out of that turn.
Limps away. He's making that point to exactly that point to the referee. He thinks there might have been a little malpractice going on there, whether Fellaini just was a little naughty. Jones. Gonzalez to Holden. Ocagnoli gets it away. Beasler showing that pace we were talking about. Not many beat Benteke in a foot race. He did have a little start, mind you.
Only 10 yards.
He won by 10 as well. There's Eddie Johnson on the chase. Something of a reality check tonight, Taylor.
Yeah, and I'm shaking my head a little bit because Sunday's going to be another one. You know, a lot of us this morning at breakfast were talking about the roster of Germany. Well, this is their B or C team. Well, the game against Ecuador today, that's not their C team.
No. Still a very, very useful squad of players. And by the way, Miroslav Klose is going to be playing as well on Sunday. He wasn't playing today. Germans were 4-0 up in 23 minutes. They took the lead after 9 seconds with the fastest goal they've ever scored in their history by Lukas Podolski. He's not a C-team player either, by the way. Belgium will go back to their big World Cup qualifier at home to Serbia on the 7th of June. Decent frame of mind, in pretty good shape. They've lost very rarely under Mark Wilmots, only the once, and that was away to England. 1-0 at Wembley about a year or so back. They have an awful lot of very good footballers. I think you've seen that tonight. Always looked a tough game, and it's proved exactly that. Mertens. This is Belgium without Eden Hazard.
Exactly.
Who's their top player. See any weaknesses at all about them?
Who, Belgium?
Yeah.
No. I mean, are you surprised they've only given up 1 goal in World Cup qualifying?
Exactly.
But in saying that, we also have to be fair and balanced. The U.S. did have their opportunities late in the first half and in the second half, but too many individual mistakes cost them the night.
Yeah, defensive frailties exposed notably by Christian Benteke, who scored 2 goals in the second half as Belgium rather run away with it. Went 4-1 ahead, but then a Clint Dempsey penalty. There he is with his Spurs teammate, Jan Vertonghen. 4-2 then on the night to Belgium.